All right, good morning and happy Sabbath. I just got done finished brewing some good coffee. The coffee that I just got done brewing is by Hills Brothers, and it's high yield. Excuse the lightning and the backwardness, which I'm glad because of copyrights. It's a higher caffeine. Now, if you all come across this coffee and you be like, what is that? I don't know. I don't want that. I'm going to advise those who wouldn't mind fasting or are trying to lose weight to drink that coffee. Yes, get that. It's $15. Sometimes the store may play games and boost up to $20. But get you a big thing of high yield. Why? Because it helps promote weight loss. Yes, it does. Drinking black coffee helps, period. It helps. You could drink black coffee, what I'm saying, while fasting because it has no calories in it, but the caffeine promotes hunger. The caffeine burns calories. That's why it's best to drink it black and in the morning. And boom, that's it. Not all day like caffeine addicts and stuff like that. No, you don't want to drink too much caffeine throughout the day because you would develop health issues later on. We're not drinking coffee just for the heck of it. We are drinking black coffee to help us. You see what I'm saying? To help promote, get us through the day, burn off calories, get us going. It's like a vitamin. It's like a high energy vitamin. You got people who drink these sugary energy drinks and they drink multiple of them, and then they got health issues later on. They're dealing with the jitters and stuff like that. They're crashing. We ain't doing that. We drinking a few cups of coffee in the morning, and boom, that's it. That's it. We don't have jitters. We're not crashing. And, you have to learn how to live, people. You have to learn how to do things, eat, drink, and rest, and you will be fine. A lot of people don't want. It's not that they don't know how. They don't want to. And that brings me to this teaching. The reason why I say a lot of people don't want to do right for themselves is because they like the temporary pleasure of what they get out of not doing what they need to do. Period. You see what I'm saying? I tell people and I live by example. That's why I tell them, I teach them. I can't teach nothing if I'm not living by it. I can't teach nothing if I don't know the results myself. Come on now. I don't want to be part of the blind leading the blind. I don't want to be part of the stupor. And so what I'm saying is I be around people, let's just say at work for the most, which is so annoying. I'm at the point where I hate going to work. I love to work and I love to provide for myself. Thank you, Lord. But being around stupid people is just so irritating. Let me just say this. I hate when people who are not doing for themselves always be the loudest, always talk the most. I try to teach people, let's just say for an example, I try to teach people who are overweight, obese, how I'm losing my weight. They see me, they ask sometimes whatnot, and maybe I can have a conversation with one person about weight loss and how to live right, eat right, drink right, what to drink, what to eat. And then you have someone else who's ill hustling may join into the conversation, want to put their little funky 2 cents in the conversation. No problem, cool then, because the person who jumps in the conversation for the most is fat. So I turn and talk to that person. Now, talking to someone in particular about weight loss irritates me when they're fat, when they're obese, when they're out of shape, when they have health issues on top of it. Always got something to say against those who are losing weight and eating right. These are people who are in denial and always justify why they choose to live the way they live. I cannot stand fat people who makes up excuses on why they choose to live the way they live, on why they choose to stay fat. They don't want to stay fat, believe it or not. They don't want to stay fat. They just want to continue to eat the things that make them fat. And they justify why they are fat. You see what I'm saying? And I'm the type of person, I'll tell you what. Look, let me tell you something. You cannot tell or teach no one anything if you are fat. And what I mean by teaching anything is about weight loss. Why are we listening to people, even channel holders? I've come across people who have channels on losing weight and they are obese. They are overweight. I've even commented about the hypocrisy of their teaching, and you have other people listening. Why? Because people who are listening to those who are teaching about weight loss that's still fat, they feel that, hold on, he or she is fat and they're teaching us how to lose weight. Okay, maybe they're telling the truth because I want to lose weight. I want to eat what I'm eating. But it's obviously they have the audacity to get up here and teach about it. Maybe it can work the way it seems as if it's working for them because they're fat. When someone is skinny and has lost the weight, is telling or teaching a fat person how to do it, they, first of all, they envy the skinny person. And in the back of their mind, they feel that it's impossible to get to that size. So they don't really want to listen to the person who is actually skinny from weight loss and eating right. They know that that's how they should do it, but they don't want to hear the truth because they don't want to get out of their comfort zone on staying fat and eating what they is deep. So they would rather listen to a stupid person than listen to someone who is wise and telling the truth, because they know they're going to have to put in some work. They're going to have to get up. They're going to have to exercise at least. And they're going to have to stop eating all this salt, sodium, high water retention, and fat foods that they get from Popeyes and Burger King, all these high carbs and all that. They don't want to let that go because it tastes good and it brings a temporary pleasure. And that's what's up. When I talk to people about weight loss, I'd rather talk to someone whether they're fat or not. I'd rather talk to people who are truly willing to listen and who are truly willing to lose the weight. I have co-workers who may say that it's impossible to lose the weight all the way down to a specific BMI. It's impossible. The doctor told me I should do it, but I looked at her and told her, are you kidding me? I haven't weighed that much or that less since I was like in second grade. All these excuses. And I'm listening to these people say these things. It's like, are you kidding me? If the doctor is telling you for your height, you need to be a certain way, why are you saying to the doctor or everybody else as if you're completely right about your judgment call? You're stupid. Why would you say that's impossible to get back down to that size? I'm 50 years old. I'm 42. I'm 37. We're not talking about your age. We're talking about your height, dodo. And let me tell you another thing. The older you get, the wiser you should know that that's how you should be with your weight. Because the older you get, the harder it's going to become for you to even shed the weight. Most people that get up in age are increasingly becoming unhealthy because of their weight and their eating habit. People are taking medication to cope their problems. Why? Because if they have high blood pressure, they're taking medicine to cope the high blood pressure, mainly like monitoring it down to a lower level because they want to continue to eat Jay's potato chips. They want to continue to eat high carb breads. They want to continue to eat Louisiana hot sauce on pig feet, on pig intestines. They want to continue to eat the things that create high blood pressure in them. And so what they do is find other chemicals to kind of like balance it, to coat it down some so they can continue to do what they're doing. But they are destroying themselves even more because of the chemicals and because of the stuff that's creating the high blood pressure. They're stupid. These people are stupid, and you're study telling them because you're living it, and you're a walking testimony. You are a walking example. They see your evidence. They see it. And all you tell them to do is eat fruit. Drink water. You gonna drink coffee? Drink it black. That's it. If you want to eat vegetables, I advised to eat only iceberg because it's water. It's 90% water. Tomatoes, cucumbers is part of fruit family. All the salt and pepper that people feel they need to add on their fruits and vegetables is living in a hypocrisy lifestyle, because it brings off an extraness to your body. You become headachy. You become dizzy. Why? Because of the sodium that you're adding on. That's not part of a natural fruit. That's not part of a natural vegetable. Salt is not added with that. Well, salt is not with that. You're adding it for the taste. You're adding pepper for the taste. You're adding olive oil for the taste. They claim that olive oil is natural, but what do you have to do to get it in that type of formation? That is not natural. I don't care what nobody say. I like it because it tastes good. Well, keep eating it. Why I'm not getting rid of the weight? Because you're creating more water retention. Everybody wants to do right, but they don't like the feeling of doing right. That's why people like to do wrong. Doing wrong brings only a temporary pleasure. Think about it. Just think about all the things that God wants us to do in righteousness. Think about all the things Satan wants us to do in wrong. You see what I'm saying? That all the wrong things, just think about it. We know it's wrong, but it feels good doing it. The things that God wants us to do, man, it's the right thing, but it's boring. You see what I'm saying? It's boring doing right. It's pleasure doing wrong. But think about it. What are the results? What are the results when you do right? You get blessings. You feel better. You are conscious free. You are free from the consequences of things when you do wrong. When you do wrong, you're guilty. You're depressed. You're stressed out. You're overthinking. You're worrying. You see what I'm saying? And you're having physical damage behind it. Everything that we do wrong, there are consequences for it. We don't like that part of doing wrong. We just like the beginning part of doing wrong, which is a temporary pleasure. But the results at the end, when we get done doing wrong, we don't like it. Why would you want to live your life like that? I would rather sacrifice and have displeasure at the beginning by trying to please God, by trying to help my body, by trying to add more years to my life. And not me literally adding more years, but God said he will bless those. He will add more years onto your life when you choose to live in righteousness, when you choose to live wisely, is what I'm saying. You will feel better when you at the beginning are suffering for righteousness, for the good. Satan tricks people into saying, man, forget all that. You don't want to suffer by trying to do right. That ain't how we doing it. You want to feel good, so-called doing right, but it's wrong. That's how Satan manipulate the majority. People want to do everything that brings them temporary pleasure, but at the end they like, man, I feel horrible. Let me tell you something. I've done that. When I was like 150 something, I'm like, man, I'm trying to get down to the fighter's physique look. I'm 5 feet. I'm trying to get down to 197. Between 97 and maybe 105 the most. I'm trying to get down. And I'm like 150, or I'll go up to 170 for my height. Not looking, feeling good. Every time I walk past the mirror, I'm like, oh, I'm feeling disgusting. Because I don't like my look. I don't like the way I feel when I try to skip, when I want to run. I don't like how I felt when I was eating the wrong foods. I get headaches, heart palpitation, and so on. And I'm like, I like what I eat. Gyros and well done gyros. When I used to eat meat, hot dogs, bologna with the hard crust around the edges, and my cheese sandwiches, hoagie sandwiches, and stuff like that. Potato wedges and dipped with sour cream and all that. All that stuff was the bomb. Ranch sauce all on my potato wedges and broccoli and cheese. All that shenanigan tastes good. It may even sound good through this video. It sound good, it tastes good, it look good, it smell good, but none of that is good for your body. When you're eating it, it tastes fat. It brings you back for more. You be like, baby, I'm getting it in right now. Some of y'all right now like, man, forget what she talking about. We finna go get us a hoagie. We finna go to Mississippi Rent and go get one. But after you eat it, you feel some type of way. You don't feel healthy. You feel bloated and a mess. And see, people who are fat, they say, I don't care. I'm finna just do this because it's impossible. I'm fat throughout my family, generation. Everybody fat. It's the genetics. So now you're making up extreme excuses to stay fat, knowing deep down inside, you don't love your look. And so I try to teach people by example on what to do. And when I say eat fruits and drink water, sometimes fast from when you eat too much fruits or when you drink too much vegetable juice, you got to pass bowel movement. You got to have a bowel movement. So it pays to fast, and then it pays to eat a little more fiber to move your bowel, because keeping the bowel in, you're going to be constipated. Plus, when you step on the scale, it makes you look more heavier than you are. And it's only because you haven't made a bowel movement. So you got to learn how to do that all over again. As a fat person, you don't even take track on how you're making a bowel movement. People have gone days without even making a bowel movement. You see what I'm saying? They don't even realize that. And then when it comes time for them to do it, they can't. They don't keep track of that. Every time you eat, especially fat people who choose to eat unhealthy, greasy foods, you have to understand something. Everything you eat, it must go out within 24 hours. Anything you eat, you're supposed to pass it out. And especially the things, the quantity of the food, garbage that they're eating. I just say that. The quantity of the stuff they're eating. You have to make a bowel movement. But see, some of that stuff that you're eating is going to naturally, because we're talking about the body now, it's going to naturally create a stoppage. You're going to be constipated because of the grease that hardens in your bowels, throughout your intestines, other stuff that may cause blockage and stuff like that. It's just disgusting. But yet a dodo talking about, well, it's impossible. The doctor is crazy. No one cares about BMI. No one cares about the percentage fat that's on them. That's impossible. We supposed to have some type of meat on us. That's what this dodo said. We supposed to have some type of fat on us. I like my butt. I like my breast. You got these stupor females out here today in today's society, going around getting BBLs because in their brain, Satan has manipulated them to take fat off their stomach and put it in their butts, in their breasts. They're getting the fat and they're putting it places where they think that that's how they supposed to look. That is disgusting. Why? Because Satan has been brainwashing people. He's the deceiver of the world. He is brainwashing people he's telling them, look, that's not how you supposed to look. You're not supposed to just eat fruit. What sense does that make? Huh? That's boring. Is that what he told Adam and Eve at the beginning about making a difference of making a right choice and a bad choice? Same difference. When you are manipulated to do what the world is doing, you are stupid. That's just simple as that. It's only a few wise people out here. And the wise that's telling the stupor to live right, we are shunned off. The dodo told me, look, I see you losing weight, but I ain't trying to do that. I asked the person what's their height. They told me their height. I said, well, it seems as if you're like 60 pounds overweight. You're 60 pounds overweight. Now, since you got in a conversation, this is because they got in our conversation. I was talking to someone else of maturity, and a young stupid person got in the conversation. So I went to that person. I just chewed them out. You know what I'm saying? And you're talking like you're smart. but you're stupid. You sound stupid. The person was just going on and on and on as if they were speaking facts. And I was trying to tell them, hold on, you're talking too much. You need to listen. You need to listen. Stop being afraid to hear the truth. You hear the truth, it's going to mess your whole understanding up. Huh? When you're overweight and you don't feel that you need to get that down, you're going to become more and more overweight and you're going to become obese. You're going to become depressed. You're going to think no one likes you. You're going to think everybody talking about you. We don't care about none of that. I get it. But you are going to care. You are going to care. You're not going to love you. You're not going to like you. You like your petite right now. But you're telling me that it's impossible to get down to where you're supposed to be. And that's what I'm saying. You're going to continue to get fat. You're not maintaining nothing to stay where you like to be. It don't even make no sense. It's unhealthy where you're at. But if that's where you want to be, then that's you. But don't try to teach that shenanigan to those who are trying to lose weight. Here's another thing. Here's another teaching. On YouTube or any other social media, I cannot stand when people have on their title raw vegan. Raw vegan. But yet, when you click on it, Sherry or Sharon or Karen, the first thing they pull out their refrigerator to cook whatever they claim is raw vegan is eggs, milk, cheese, breads. They pull all these things out to fix whatever they just deceived the viewer to believe is raw vegan. That's another deception, and it's disrespectful. You have fruitarian channels. They got channels with cutting up, making fruit salads, saying that this is raw fruitarian meals. The first thing they pull out, oils, syrup, sugar, juice, which is not natural. And we're talking about orange juice because it has factory sugar in it. They pull all these extra things out of here to deceive the viewer into thinking that this is how you should eat. They want their views. They want their subscribers. They don't care about deceiving the viewer with truth, with lies. They don't care about that. They want to deceive the viewer with lies because they want their likes. They want their millions subscribers. They want their millions views. They want that. So they will bring you to the channel in the hopes of getting what you want to see so you can eat it, thinking that you're doing the right thing. Bang! Okay, cool. Karen is doing fruit salads and she's putting sugar in it. I'm going to do that. Huh? Johnny is cooking a raw vegan salad, but he just put some seasonings in it. He just put some cream around it. I'm doing that. Why? Because they just added some things that's going to boost the flavor. People love to eat what tastes good. They're not thinking of what the food itself alone without those additives. They're not thinking alone about what the natural foods would do for their body alone without that stuff. They're not thinking like that. They're not thinking with their brain about how they should eat. They saying, man, forget that. Okay, I get the peaches and the watermelon and all that, but what's that right there they just put on there? I'm finna go spend some more money on that chemical. I don't care. I'm getting that. Sea salt. I'm finna get a gang of sea salt because that's supposed to be natural. These are lies. These are lies. When in the Bible it says put seasonings in it, that's a spiritual seasoning. Hallelujah. That's a spiritual seasoning. People, stop being afraid to be natural. Stop being afraid to eat natural. People that's fat on YouTube teaching on how to eat healthy, turn it off and unsubscribe. They not eating what they're teaching. People, raw vegan videos and the first thing they put in their foods, salads or whatever they're making. They put milk. They fixing it with cheese. They got bread. They got salt. They got pepper. Turn off and unsubscribe. So-called fruitarians on YouTube making these fruit salads, claiming that it's fruitarian. And the first thing they're putting in their fruit is artificial sugars, syrups, salts, factory-made juices. Turn it off and unsubscribe, or however in that order. I'm just trying to tell y'all something. A lot of people don't like me and let's just say Kev the Fruitarian. A lot of people don't like listen to us, and they like to argue with us because we are the truth and we don't tickle the air. We're not here to satisfy people. We are here to help people. That's why a lot of people that's unhealthy don't care for going to the doctor, because they don't want to hear the truth that the doctor is going to tell them. They don't want to hear it. When they're forced to go to the doctor, they sitting there like, what is in that, doctor? And the doctor is telling you, you're going to die within a year if you don't stop it. And Fat Keisha like, well, I don't know. I see what I could do. Getting on my nerves. Getting every time I come in here, it's always something like it's the doctor problem or a fault because you choose to stay fat. You don't want to stay fat. You just don't want to change what's making you fat. Shalom.